This is Sybert signing in to Kane's Wrath on the map, Red Zone Rampage, so rest in peace, YouTube compression, as it will probably do very poorly with the lighting on this map. This is an FFA in the top left-hand corner as the green-black hand. It's Lamas. In the top right as the blue GDI. This is Nomad. In the bottom left-hand corner as the orange GDI, it's DuneTiger. And in the bottom right-hand corner as the red GDI, it's Phantom. Alright, Red Zone Rampage, not the best map, but it is a map, so there's that. Also, this is an FFA, so things are going to get weird. This is from the Game Replays Pandemic Tournament, which was a free-for-all Kane's Wrath tournament, I think at the beginning of November. I might be a little bit behind in replays. I do have something like 78 replays on my hard drive, not all Kane's Wrath, but like 20-something of Kane's Wrath. So I've got a lot of replays to get through in the in the near future, so hopefully my voice holds up. A lot of replays for solo casting, but FFA tournaments are a little bit weird. I believe they're doing a point distribution, so like whoever comes in first in this, the last person or the person who wins is gets 4 points, and then if you are the second to last person, so the last person to be eliminated, then you get 3 points, that sort of thing. And then they tally up the points after a couple of games. Last time we did this, it was in Tib Wars, and I don't know that all of the games were actually played or saved, so we just had a good time. We didn't really pay attention to the score, and we kind of just treated it like it was a couple of FFAs, and it was a good time. A couple of Orcas going to be coming in here for Nomad, of course, with it being blue Tib right at the start. Everybody is kind of focused on that, and then sometimes you're able to get out a couple of Orcas like this and hunt a couple of Harvesters. One wasted bomb there, and one Orca does go down. And if both of those Harvesters had been full of blue Tiberium, then that definitely would have been worth it, but just one of them was full of blue Tiberium, so that is not as much value as he was hoping to get. But it's a great start. Killing a Harvester full of blue Tiberium and denying that from your opponent is definitely a good start for your day if you're Nomad. APC and Pitbull is going to be called in the north. DuneTiger with a little bit of a scouting squad up here to the top right-hand corner. Rifleman just kind of running through the map, and Phantom going to be pushing in with a bunch of Pitbulls, so he himself is going to be hunting some Harvesters, not with Orcas, though. And, where's the rest of... I don't know where the rest of Nomad's Harvesters are, because there's no way he has literally one Harvester at this point in the game. Because that would be crazy if he had literally one Harvester and it just got sniped. So, I guess the rest of his Harvesters are off hiding, perhaps in a corner. They, yeah, they must be doing something. He's built another Harvester, so he has one Harvester. This does not bode well for him. Of course, DuneTiger, oftentimes in the FFAs, it is whoever gets attacked the least has a big advantage. Not necessarily that they're able to win, but they just have a big advantage. And in this case, DuneTiger has been able to get all of his blue Tiberium and set up multiple refineries on the green Tiberium before taking any real attacks of any kind. And I mean, that was just really a single buggy, so not even really an attack. He's actually stealing a bit of green Tiberium from Lamas' side of the green Tiberium field, which is pretty funny that he's bothering to send his Harvesters that deep onto enemy territory and steal Tiberium from that far away. It's not actually going to work out for him, as he does lose that Harvester there with all of those rockets coming in. Phantom gearing up for a potential push to the left side of the map is going to be potentially crushing DuneTiger. Now, this is great for Nomad because it seems like everyone is leaving him alone. So either he lost a bunch of Harvesters early on and we just missed it, or he didn't build any Harvesters until after he lost the first one, and he was so focused on his Orca rush that he just didn't build Harvesters. Okay, this is kind of bizarre that DuneTiger continued to send more Harvesters there when he lost one to so many rockets. That's a little bit strange that he sent them that far. Watchtowers should be coming up in a couple of moments here, and this fight, if it was taken against the Watchtowers, might fare a little bit better for our GDI player. The APCs are in decent numbers, but this is a lot of rockets which are eating up the APCs one after the other. Sonic Shatterer on the front line now, and it should be able to clear up some of this clumped up infantry. A couple of Watchtowers would be a really nice addition to this defense. Maybe if the fight had been taken a little bit closer to DuneTiger's forces. DuneTiger getting pressured from two sides at the same time, and Phantom is going to be able to clean up the Tier 2 and snipe the Tier 3 as well, which means DuneTiger is going to be pretty much caught with no tech and no production, losing to an infantry push in the north and a tank push from the right. So from the east and from the north, getting crushed in two different directions, and DuneTiger is just about out of this game. Now, of course, this is an FFA, so it is about whoever stays in the game longest, which means if he was able to sneak out an outpost somewhere onto the map, then he could actually stay in this game a little bit longer. Just need anything to preserve you in the game for you to get more points than someone else who maybe was actively in the game a little bit longer. Harvesters and Predator tanks getting eliminated one by one. And I think this is going to have to be it for DuneTiger. His barracks is the last thing standing. Phantom trying to get a couple of shots off on this infantry army as it retreats. Phantom has killed off DuneTiger, of course, with the help of Lamas. And I don't think Lamas is going to be able to overwhelm this army this quickly with the Shatterers in here and the APCs. Phantom should be able to clean up this infantry army. Can he actually push forward? He actually might be able to just push forward and kill off like that entire base. If he just keeps pressing north, I mean, one obelisk, it'll do a bit of damage, but he could probably take that. He might end up losing out to the continual pressure of the man spam coming out, 3 or 4 barracks at a time. Is there a... I swear on the mini-map, it looks like there's like a blue dot here. I guess it's not actually something from Nomad, but it looks like there is. Tier 3 going down for Phantom. Could be for railguns, most likely. Could also be to get up his MARV. Marvesting on this map is not a bad idea either. Phantom reforming up in the middle of the map, and Nomad may actually be heading south, which may not be advisable. If he starts attacking Phantom, he may sort of be wakening the beast, and that may not actually turn out very well for him. Composite armor has finished. The Redeemer Engineering Facility on the way, but it's a little bit late. Won't really be a part of this battle, and Phantom may not actually end up finishing it off. He does leave a couple of units behind to get the kill, finish it off, get the guaranteed kill, and the reset on that timer. And this base is so densely packed, it's an absolute mess. At the same time, Nomad pushing in with a little bit of an army, not enough to really do anything against Phantom. He turns his forces around to deal with Nomad, and now Nomad has this APC Hammerhead army, which is a little bit of a bizarre composition compared to the amount of tanks that everyone else has. But hey, if that is what works, that is what works. Hopefully a couple of watchtowers going to be coming down, maybe even some sonic emitters, and if you don't have to meet them out on the open field of battle, if you can meet them a little bit closer to your base defenses, that is always nice. In this case, a couple of Predator tanks going for some big crushes, and they get some damage, but not enough to really kill the infantry as quickly as Phantom would like. Sniper team's putting in big work against this army, and Lamas continuing with just almost entirely infantry forces. Ooh, a couple of flame tanks, a nice addition and a nice attempt if he tries to do something sneaky. Of course, unfortunately for Blackhand, no stealth, so you can't have stealth flame tanks sneaking around the map, but flame tanks nonetheless, sometimes very powerful asset. Also, we have a tip chemical plant, but I haven't actually heard anything firing off, which can be quite deadly on this map, especially with these close refineries. And then after those refineries go down, it's like, where are you going to drive? You're going to have to drive all the way over here to the one refinery that's open, and that is just not good. So oftentimes on this map, the drive time can be the thing that really slows down the economy if you get a couple of their refineries. Flame tanks pushing forward, and goodbye, flame tanks. They get eliminated, unfortunately for Lamas. His sneaky flame tanks did not work out. One MCV, is that? No, that's not his only MCV. That is a second MCV for Lamas. Moving down to the south, Harvester is going to be trading blows with obelisks and rocket troopers, and goodbye, Harvester. So we're in this weird kind of stalemate situation where no player feels comfortable being able to break the stalemate. No player feels comfortable with trying to kill off one of their opponents. Like, obviously, Nomad a couple of minutes ago was much weaker and would have been much easier to kill off. But at that time, Phantom and Lamas were more worried about if their army is out of position attacking Nomad, they won't be able to defend against the other player, and that could knock them out of the game while they're trying to knock Nomad out of the game. Orca Strike coming in for Nomad, a complete whiff there. Hard to hit army with an Orca Strike like that. Tried to sell off the refiner, didn't quite get it in time. Tib Catalyst, or Tib Bane detonation, going to be decimating this army. Huge explosions everywhere. Harvesters going down, APCs, Predator tanks, and I guess that Railguns upgrade never did finish for... Oh, he got something else. I don't even know what that is. What is that? That's not tungsten, is it? Is that what the mortar upgrade looks like? I never actually bothered to look at the tech center when the mortar upgrade has been purchased. Like, the railguns are pretty easy to identify, but MARV is now out. Yeah, I guess he did get tungsten shells. I think his AA batteries had it. Nomad, he's possibly just going to wait for these guys to duke it out, which honestly might be the best option in this situation. Phantom trying to rebuild some of his Harvesters. Rage Gen potentially about to fire off, which could do some pretty hefty damage to this army. We'll have to see how the friendly fire is. I think most of them were already given an attack command on the Redeemer, so most of them actually avoided the majority of that Rage Gen. This is a lot of infantry. He switches it around, pulling the MARV into the reverse move so it doesn't take quite as much damage, but now its back is to the Redeemer, and the Redeemer getting off big shots, but at the same time the Redeemer taking a lot of damage from the MARV and from this Tier 1 GDI army. The infantry pushing in, able to get the kill on the MARV, and the base defenses should be able to wheedle this army down now that the Redeemer has finally fallen. Zone troopers, grenadiers, and a handful of tank APCs. Those sniper teams inside of the APC still doing so much work, so much damage. And a MARV with 2 engineers and 2 railguns could be pressuring Lamas from the east. There actually is no army here, so that it means literally that obelisk is the only ground attack thing standing in between Nomad and pretty much killing off Lamas. I do like that Lamas grabbed the EMP control center. He is going to be able to take control of that and potentially lock down... well, he doesn't actually have any units to kill locked down units with, so if he EMPs an army, unless it's the Hammerheads, he's not necessarily going to be able to kill that army until the EMP wears off, because he just does not have a lot of stuff. Phantom with his ragtag army may end up kind of expending a lot of his strength if he goes in here and he kills off Lamas, and then there's just, oh, no, the Redeemer is here. He can't actually take this on, not against, I assume, base defenses? If there's, like, shredder turrets or something? There actually isn't a lot of shredder turret construction happening. Tib Catalyst missile being dropped down on the north side of Lamas' base. A couple of Harvesters going to be getting eliminated by Nomad. Redeemer steps forward, and, well, I guess the Redeemer can't shoot up, so technically this Hammerhead could eventually kill a Redeemer, but boy, is that going to take a long time. A beam cannon going to be the follow-up for Lamas. Juggernaut starting to pressure Lamas. I like that Nomad has stuck around waiting for his Juggernaut so he can get, like, the perfect kill on that obelisk. He's also force-firing the ground to to avoid the rage gen, but the Redeemer wasn't actually in range, and now we can just give an attack command on the Redeemer. And this Redeemer may actually explode relatively quickly. The Juggernaut's getting in some good shots, but also the Hammerheads on that rear armor. The Hammerhead's now going to be flying directly over 2 more SAM sites. The splash damage almost incredible, but it didn't quite work out for Lamas. The Redeemer does escape for now, definitely battered and bruised, but not broken. Juggernaut's continuing to pound from afar as the beam cannons line up on one of those APCs to slowly sap it down. Could actually go ahead and just Marvis this little bit of Tiberium that was just dropped. That would be a nice denial against Lamas. And once again, the Hammerhead's going to be coming in, but these are so weak Hammerheads, and these SAM sites are so ready for the splash damage. The Juggernauts just need to pound away at these power plants. There's 4 or 5 power plants all accessible here on the front line that could be eliminated very, very quickly. The Redeemer now on the front line is going to be causing a little bit of a threat, but Lamas is going to be pressured from 2 different directions, and the sneaky GDI force may be able to break in the back door and shut down Lamas's actual control and his ability to focus on one front at one time, because if his Juggernaut stays, or if his Redeemer stays here, he's not going to be able to do anything about the army in the south. The Redeemer now extremely low on health. The Juggernaut's doing some massive damage. The power plant's exploding. The Tier 2 exploding. And it's going to be Phantom and Nomad closing in on Lamas. But at the last moment, will Nomad turn to the south and instead try and kill off Phantom? Because it looks like he's actually backing off, which means he may be leaving Phantom to do the dirty work of actually killing off Lamas himself. Wait, is Lamas fire? No, he's not fire sailing. He did just sell off a whole bunch of stuff, maybe even just to get the Cabal squads out, just so that he has the extra DPS to go along with his Redeemer. I think that was a fully heroic APC just a moment ago. The army of Phantom is pretty much broken at this point, as he has just a couple of units left. Lamas, he's got his Tier 3, he's got his refinery, so he is good to go. He's got no production facilities, but that is actually okay. As the current moment, he has survived, and he's just hoping Nomad turns south, goes and kills off Phantom, gives him a couple of minutes to rebuild. He's got the Redeemer here. He's now got a War Factory up and running. He's sold off his Tier 3. This Redeemer coming so close to death, but not actually going down. And now Nomad has done it, coming from almost being destroyed in the early game to, well, he's now marching it through Phantom's base with a high health MARV with 2 engineers. And are there actually EMP grenades? Yes, there are. There are actually EMPs. So he could repeat lockdown this MARV. He's got 3 EMP grenadiers at least. So he can kind of chain the EMPs for a little while, maybe not forever, but for a while. Buggy's coming on out with those to contend with those Hammerheads, as the Hammerhead's now going to be trying to deal with the EMP Grenadiers, and this might be the end of Phantom. Nomad, a little bit indecisive. He really is committing to not attacking anyone completely and not killing them off. That's the one thing he is committing to, as these Buggies are going to get simply overwhelmed by the Hammerheads. No, never mind. The Hammerheads are literally just focusing on the Redeemer, and the Redeemer, of course, no way to shoot up, so it's going to be a tough fight for that Redeemer to make it too much longer in this game. Raider Buggy comes across the map to do I don't know what. Juggernauts just hanging out. This is so many Juggernauts. 7 Juggernauts, which could level any structure in just a volley or 2, as the Redeemer gets eliminated. And Nomad, with the very patient, I'm going to play in my corner and be a threat to no one play, has actually survived the day and become the strongest in the game. Over here on the left side of the map, it's an MCV from Phantom, so he's just trying to hang out here. He's trying to hide. He should probably unpack right about there, yeah. That's a good spot to unpack. It means that Lamas will almost certainly be killed off before Phantom is. And in this case, he just needs a couple more EMPs on this MARV, and he'll be fine. Uh-oh. There's 1 power plant left, I think, but he doesn't actually go for it. Lamas may actually outlast Phantom. Nope, the Hammerheads all turn around. They turn back around again, Nomad being the captain of indecision, and the MCV is actually going to be getting eliminated. Phantom has been killed off, and that means Lamas technically takes second place here. As, there we go, he had something in the very corner there, but Lamas has been defeated. So Nomad takes first, Lamas takes second, Phantom takes third, and DuneTiger takes fourth, which if this had been a series of 1v1s, I think that would have been probably the opposite of how this one turned out. But that will do it for game number 1. Let's jump into game number 2, which takes us to Rectropolis, which is not a map that I have seen in a long, long time. I feel like the last time I saw this map, it was like me and Sparty playing 5 or 6 years ago, just doing some nonsense. Anyways, in the top left-hand corner, continuing our FFA nonsense as the yellow-black hand, it's Phantom. And in the top right-hand corner, as the orange-black hand, it's Nomad, our number 1 player from the previous game. In the bottom left-hand corner, it is not DuneTiger, this is SharpSense. As the purple nod. What the heck is a random player doing here in game number 2? We'll get to that. Here in the bottom right-hand corner, as the green Traveler 59, it's Lamas. Apparently, DuneTiger had to peace out, so they pulled someone in from a previous round and stuck him here into game 2 of the final. So I don't know how this is going to work out with points or anything, but do they assume DuneTiger's 1 point? Do they have to, like, win this to have a standing? Who knows? We're just casting some FFAs. We're just seeing how stuff develops and where it goes. Wait a sec. Are there no neutral structures on this map? I mean, there's bunkers and there's, like, buildings that you can stick guys in, but is this the only map with no capturable structures? I might be missing one, but like every other map has at least a Tib Spike, EMP Control Center, or a Mutant Hovel. But like, this is kind of nothing. This map is also like has a very open feeling to it, but you do get played into this kind of center area as everyone starts quite far apart, but then you're all forced together as you take your sort of natural expansions. SharpSense with the nod plays, couple of black hand squads in a Reckoner. The best part about this is he is Reckoner rushing a black hand player, who in theory should have a superior Reckoner rush, but in this case is not actually going for a Reckoner rush. Bike's going to be coming in here from Nomad, so last time Nomad with the Orca Strike early on, claiming some Harvester kills, but this time it's the Bikes stepping forward to get some big damage. And unfortunately for Lamas, Lamas is actually spreading his damage out across the Bikes in a really inefficient way, so a number of those Bikes would have gone down earlier. This is a great spot for the Reckoner to unpack, next to the War Factory, next to a refinery, next to the MCV as well. This is pretty much the perfect spot. Gets an Engineer as well. Phantom getting absolutely destroyed by this. He's not going for the MCV. He's going to go for another refinery, which is the better choice in this case. You're not going to get the MCV, so he is going to go for the refinery. He does not get the refinery, but he gets some big damage off on it. And the Engineer is spent to restore that refinery, but that is an expensive refinery with the 500 credit Engineer heal. And there are no Harvesters on the line for Lamas. So Nomad and SharpSense coming out with the big plays immediately, buying themselves both a huge amount of space, and fortunately for each other, fortunately for the guys who got attacked, they did not hit the same people, because if Lamas if Nomad and SharpSense had attacked the same player, that player would be absolutely dead, as long as Nomad didn't just use his bikes to kill the Reckoner or something like that. 3 more bikes going to be swinging in here, and 3 bikes is a Harvester killing force, but not usually when there is this much defense, and oh my gosh, that Harvester comes so close to death. 1 more bike actually would have been worth it just to get the guaranteed kill on that Harvester and pretty much kick Lamas out of this game, because at this point, Lamas has 1 Harvester, but he's going to get a full load of Tiberium. He's going to get a 2nd Harvester, and he is sort of back in this game. Was that an MCV cell? I think a Nomad just tried to do a MCV cell all in, but typically you get 2 or 3 harvesters, but 2 war factories, and then you MCV sell. There's just 1 war factory, which is a bit concerning. He also does not have the defense here, so Nomad may actually just be getting full-on smacked down out of this game, possibly by Phantom. Phantom, who's going to have to try and defend this many Scorpion tanks, 6, 7, 8 Scorpion tanks, something like that, with basically nothing. His MCV was moving down here to the middle of the map. He's dropped a war factory, and he is moving on. He has given up the Ghost in the top left-hand corner of the map. He's just given up that base, and Phantom actually pulls the pressure off of Nomad in the top right-hand corner. I actually think it might be worth taking Nomad's base. Turn your MCV up to that top right-hand corner and just assume the spot. Harvesters once again being targeted by the bikes. I think these are Nomad's bikes, but I actually can't 100% tell. Nomad is actually going to be losing potentially just everything to the bikes of Phantom, but then Phantom is also being chased by the Scorpions of Sharp Sense, and Phantom needs to buy himself some time to get out a refinery and to get out a barracks so he can try and defend against these Scorpion tanks, because bikes and rocket squads could together defend against the Scorpion tanks, but either one, bikes or rocket squads, is going to have a much, much more difficult time. Nomad has been defeated. Our winner from last game is out first in game number 2, which means we definitely can have an evening up of the score, if that even matters. The refinery is down, but it gets found out immediately by bikes, by Scorpion tanks, by pretty much the entire active army of Sharp Sense. And it looks like this one may be over almost before it began. Some cheeky, aggressive plays early on, but it turns out the bike rush, not the superior option. The Reckoner rush followed up with just Scorpion tank spam is the superior option coming out here from Sharp Sense. Once again, Lamas in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, minding his own business, quietly churning away, and he is going to be taking second unless this goes really long and somehow Sharp Sense doesn't kill him off. But at this point, Sharp Sense, the fact that he's not is nice, because it does mean that he can get up to Venoms, and then he can search the map with Venoms, because when you get into this hunting situation where you're looking for, like, potentially an emissary and or outpost somewhere in a corner of a map, you want to have flying units if at all you can. And I mean, Scorpion tanks will get the job done, but you want to have those flying units to spot all of the edges and the corners of the map quickly, if you at all can. In this case, a whole bunch of harvesters are going to be under threat, but I don't know that it really matters. No, don't pull the army back. Just kill the refinery. Okay, he leaves a couple of tanks here to kill off the refinery. A couple of them may actually just have been firing at buzzers, not actually the refinery. No, don't do it. Kill the refinery. No, you fool. You don't even need harvesters. Keep, like, 1 harvester back here. He probably could have pulled, like, 6 Scorpion tanks back and with reinforcements dealt with it that way. No. So like 1 million Scorpion tanks are shooting at some Seeker tanks, which we all know how that's going. Hey, that's a double vet Seeker. Lamas has been defeated. Sharp Sense takes first place in game number 2. Again, what does that even mean? Who the heck knows? Let's see what happens in game number 3, which takes us to downtown Dust Bowl. On the left as the red screen, this is Nomad. In the north as the orange marked of Kane, it's DuneTiger. And in the right side as the blue nod, it's Phantom. Rounding out our 4-player FFA, going for a descent rush in the south as the green Traveler 59, double portal, it's Lamas. All right, DuneTiger is back, which may mean that I have these replays out of order, but it also could mean something else. Who knows? We're just having fun here in the FFA games, and, well, whatever. We have a double descent rush, a double portal descent rush, which is far more descents than you ever would expect. I guess he's moving his MCV over, like maybe to here, and then you can build off of both bases quite easily. That's actually pretty nice. If you're going to double descent rush, you probably want to have some kind of a follow-up plan, which is just like, you got to be ultra greedy to try and get yourself back in the game after you double portal descent rush somewhere onto the map. We do have an EMP control center on this map, so there are no tib spikes, but there are EMP control centers. I guess you could maybe sneak a tip spike into like each corner if you had wanted to, but they chose not to. Curiously enough, Lamas goes directly across the map. He is going right for the throat of DuneTiger. I think the spawns are randomized though, so I don't think he actually knows where anyone was. And DuneTiger, I believe, went refinery first, so this may actually end up being the best possible situation for Lamas to get an early kill on someone. He's going to get all of the harvesters, and that pretty much hamstrings DuneTiger. He's going for the power plants next, which is the exact right move. He's going to get 2 power plants before the shredder turrets even come online, and a 3rd power plant gets eliminated. DuneTiger has been defeated, knocked out of the game so fast by this double portal descent rush, and then there were 3. These harvesters are extremely exposed as well. This is 5 harvesters and an MCV all packed up, waiting for these descents to rush across the map and just eat them up. Phantom is going to get some idea of this when he scouts the southern position and realizes that there's nothing there, and then also in the north when his scouting militant squad goes over there and sees a huge army of descents, drops down a power plant, gets a militant squad out, and then a shredder turret on top of that. I do like that option. The descents just descend upon the shredder turret, which is maybe a little bit of a mistake. They need to just go for the harvesters or for the power plants. Whatever is his choice, he needs to commit to it. And he's going now for the harvesters. Gets a buggy as well, gets 2 harvesters, but then splits his descent and does nothing with some of them. A little bit of a mistake there from Lamas. He's going to get a 3rd harvester. 4th and 5th harvester may escape their stealth detection, keeping them safe for the current moment, and this is still so many descents. He's going to try and get a sneaky refine on this Tiberium, but he is not out of the woods yet, and now there's the stealth reveal. There's the pounce as Lamas gets on the last harvester full of Tiberium and earns himself an extra kill. 1 more buggy will also be going down. These descents killing off DuneTiger and nearly killing off Phantom, but Phantom has survived. He's got the harvester, he's got the refiner, he's got his MCV, so he is alive. And honestly, he's maybe even as much alive as Lamas is, who Lamas is now just going to be sitting in the corner of the map. He, I guess, spent all of his cash. I assumed he had saved enough to get a refinery out, but it looks like he may not have actually done that. He may have literally spent all of his cash and on those descents. No, he's got... Okay, that's Nomad, not Lamas. Lamas has 200 credits, yeah, so he can't do anything with his cash. And he is essentially out of this game. If Nomad realizes that, or if Phantom realizes that, then they may actually be able to do something about it. But I'm guessing they're just not going to quite realize it. And, well, I guess all of those pipes just kind of disappearing there. But Phantom also setting up in the corner. And Nomad, well, he is pretty much free and clear to do whatever he wants. He's going to be expanding to the north, taking this field here. He can also take DuneTiger's field there and try and do something with that. He could actually move his MCV kind of into a more central position between the 2 fields. Should go ahead and transfer over his harvesters. He's got a lot of waiting harvesters not doing anything. Actually sends one of them south. Get a little bit of that Tiberium down there, or it's just auto-harvesting down to the south, either way. And, yeah, these harvesters really should just be transferred up north. I mean, even though they're going to be waiting, at least they'll be filling up on the Tiberium that's up here instead of just hanging out with, like, half full down here. Well, it is definitely Nomad's game to lose at this point. Lamas almost literally can't win. He doesn't really have any attacking units. He had some buzzer swarms that were running around the map, but some buzzers aren't really going to kill anything, so... And I think technically all of the buzzers are gone now. Well, he does have an engineer, so he could engineer, he could drop his MCV down, right, next to someone else's MCV. Engineer, cap it, then sell off that MCV, get another engineer, cap someone else's MCV, sell that off, get another engineer. Actually, at some point, he's going to have enough cash by selling MCVs to build a refinery. So he actually would only have to do that a couple of times, which might mean if he's able to steal both of Nomad's drone ships by selling off his drone ship, that would be pretty amazing if he was able to pull that off. A little bit of scouting squads from just about each player who's still, you know, in the game. All of Lamas' scouting squads got cleaned up by Phantom a minute ago. But for now, Nomad, he's living the multi-MCV lifestyle. That is how he wants to live this one out, and you can't really blame him. Bikes from Phantom, they're going to be dropping down on this portal, and curiously enough, Nomad actually is defending Phantom's portal for some reason. He's going to get a kill on a couple of bikes. I don't know that that's really doing all that much, but it's something. By the way, shout out to Claymore for organizing this tournament, for, you know, setting it up. FFAs can be a bit of a mess, but they are also a good bit of fun. And it looks like Nomad is starting to close in on Phantom. Phantom has actually discovered Lamas here in the corner of the map, and in this case, because it's airborne, it actually would have been better to land it so that it took less damage from the bikes. Goodbye, Lamas, and Phantom has earned himself a second-place finish, unless Nomad really messes this up. He's got all of the opportunity. He's got all of the options. And even an Eradicator Hexapod here out on the map. These buzzers are going to get cleaned up by the Shredder turrets, but that is pretty much it. As Phantom, I guess, still has this stuff down here. And there's the finish of the fire sale. Phantom has been defeated. Nomad is the victor of game number 1 and game number 3. 2 out of 3 games, and that will do it for this tournament, for this series. Again, big thanks to Claymore for setting everything up, and for the players for putting on a show. Some of the games, a little bit of a whiff, but still, that's how FFAs go. Sometimes it's an amazing, action-packed, chaotic thrill ride, and sometimes it's a little bit of a rush and a little bit of an ender real quick. That will do it for this game, for this series. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Sybert, signing out.